Hey guys, Ray here. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between good players and great players. Basically, what I mean by that is what separates you if you think and categorize yourself as a good player from a great player, aka a pro player, someone who consistently performs in a majority of events. Now, the difference between good and great players are actually very simple, but significant as well. So, like, what I'm trying to say is there may not be many things that separate you from a great player, just little things that you can change in your gameplay that could take you a very long way. Now, a great player consistently dominates in an environment where RNG is a thing and will consistently be at the top of the leaderboards regardless, whereas a good player can potentially, do well from time to time, but if you find yourself like blaming RNG or blaming, certain aspects of the game that everyone has to deal with and complaining as to, and trying to say that's why you're not doing well, you're most likely on the good player side, or maybe even on the bad player side, but not necessarily on the great player side. Basically, the point I'm trying to make here is that, yeah, you can grind all you want, spend countless hours on the game in creative, scrimming, whatever, but none of that will really matter unless you know what you need to work on. And finding out what you need to work on is not something that is easy to do, or at least it's not easy to do on your own, which brings me to the first step here. The first thing you need to do to take your game to the next level, in my opinion, is that you need to start VOD reviewing. If you don't VOD review, or if you have not VOD reviewed before, then my best advice would be to start VOD reviewing. Like, VOD review your VODs, VOD review pros VODs, like good players, even someone close to you think is a good player, like Buka, Stretch, whatever. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but VOD reviewing, even at the highest level, VOD reviewing your competition could actually be very helpful. It could either help you find out counter strats, or maybe form your own strats or form your own ideas. VOD reviewing is a very important step you need to take to improving your gameplay. Step 2, keeping it in the simple side of things, is VOD reviewing with someone else. So not just you VOD reviewing yourself or someone else's VODs, but you VOD reviewing with a friend. So I guess you and your friend would get into a VC screen share and VOD review your past couple games, and you can see what you did wrong and you can see what you did right within the other person's opinion. It just gives you another point of view on certain situations. Like, think about it this way. Yeah, what you did could be right, but there's also another way you could have done that. There's probably like a finite amount of ways that you could have done that. Like, instead of going left, you could have gone right. Instead of going right, you could have gone left. You could have went above. You could have went under. Like, it's not like what you did was wrong, but there's something else you could, like, there's other options than the decision you made, and that's why I think it's good to VOD review with someone else and get another opinion, because they'll look at something from a different angle than what you're looking at, if that makes sense. It's good to get different point of views. Like, even what could be helpful is every time you choose to VOD review with someone else, you can get a different person every time if you have that available to you. And even something like that could help you. Or group VOD review sessions, maybe like 4 or 5 of your friends together, trying to VOD review and, helping each other out. Like, something like that can be very important and a big step to helping you find out what you need to work on personally. Step number 3, which is something I have mentioned previously, VOD reviewing those quote-unquote great players or pro players that are consistently doing well. Now, don't just, watch them or like VOD review them or whatever. Try to get something new or learn something new from every different aspect of gameplay that you're watching. Like, don't just watch them to watch them. You gotta like try to think a step ahead and read in between the lines. Like, pay attention to different strategies or how they approach different situations, or even like maybe try breaking down their plays and trying to figure out what they've done, and maybe even like try to make a formula out of it. You know what I mean? Like how they approach the fight. If you notice someone maybe ramping up towards another player in hard mats, or like switching materials in the middle of a fight, or maybe like, you know what I mean? Like there's different things you could read in between the lines and see what's different, like what they're doing differently from what you're doing. And now I'm not saying for you to copy them to the T, but I'm saying like you could get some influence from what they're doing and maybe find places it could fit into your playstyle. And that brings me on to number 4. And this is actually a really big one, and it's mindset. Mindset is actually probably one of the biggest things that separate the good players from great players. Now, a lot of people think your mindset has to do with whether you rage off of a cash cup or not, but in reality, mindset goes a lot deeper than that. You really gotta think about certain things that affect your mindset while playing the game. Think about how you react to losing. Do you get angry? Do you rage? Do you think about what literally just happened a few seconds ago, or do you blame the game? Do you blame yourself? Or worse, do you blame your teammates? Do you have the will to keep playing even though you think you don't stand a chance at, making money or whatever? Does dying on spawn deteriorate your confidence? Are you playing with a negative mindset or a positive mindset? Are you playing with a timid or aggressive mindset? Do you believe in yourself when you play? Like, do you think you're good enough? Do you think you're better than everyone else in the lobby? Like, all these things add up and equal to mindset. Now, to put it simple, if you go in with your chest up, with the confidence and with the mindset and the thought that you're better than everyone else, you go into a bunch of different situations more confidently. Whereas if you're if you're going in with a negative mindset, if you're going in, thinking that the first person you run into is going to kill you, so you need to avoid everything, then 9 times out of 10, that's probably what's going to happen. The person's going to push you. You're going to go into the, oh, why am I getting pushed? This kid's a psychopath. And then, boom, you die, you rage, you get off the game. And that's not what you want. So, mindset, really important. Number 4, work on mindset. Now, step number 5, confidence. Confidence is kind of like a subcategory of mindset, but like it's very important on a different level. Like on paper, it seems simple, just be more confident in your abilities. But in actuality, confidence can be very hard for some players. It all comes down to how you personally view your own skill. If you currently aren't 100% confident in your ability to, take on anyone you may run into in a lobby, then you need to take the steps necessary to put yourself in that position. Whether that is, grinding your aim, playing callbacks, box fighting, build fighting, running editing courses, whatever. But seeing your own improvement and growth, I know for a fact, is a huge confidence booster. And like, if you're not 100% confident that you can take on any person you would run into in the lobby, whether it's a pro player, whether it's someone who just started playing today, your confidence is going to take a huge hit. And confidence is like a huge thing that separates the good players from the great players. Like, if your confidence is low, like, the probability of you winning a fight of someone you may run into is already like cut in half. So confidence is very important. You need to work on confidence. And like I said, if you're not 100% sure on your skill, boom, get to VOD reviewing, find out what you need to work on, and then spend some time improving that specific ability to boost your confidence. All right, on to number 6. Another huge thing that separates the good players from the great players is perspective. Some of the best performing players will look at the game differently from how you think they are. And we have seen this countless times before in the community. But a lot of people tend to not notice it. My experience with this was in one of my recent VOD review sessions, actually. We were VOD reviewing in a group, and our immediate reaction to the play was, hey, instead of going left, maybe you should have went right. If you went right, you wouldn't have been held as hard because there was less people on the right side. Whereas one of my friends, who I would consider a great player, replies with, no, go back to first zone. Boom, there's your problem. And to all of us, like, we're just like, huh? Like, we're confused. But the point he was trying to make was, he's looking at this from a different perspective. If you would have fixed your rotation from first zone onward, you wouldn't have been in that position to begin with. And now, perspective is something people really need to start looking at differently. You need to look at certain situations differently, and certain, aspects of the game from another perspective. Think about it this way. You look at the leaderboard, right? You see someone with a 15 kill win their first game and think, damn, he's W King. I need to W key. But in actuality, he's not W King. He's just playing the game. He's playing for endgame and he happened to pop off. Or he planned ahead of time and he set himself up in a position to where he can take fights in full confidence without interference, without third parties. And something as simple as looking at things from a different perspective can help you go in with a game plan and bring out the consistency you're looking for. That is, in my opinion, all in all, what separates a good player from a great player. Knowing what you need to work on. And that could mean VOD reviewing your own VODs, VOD reviewing a great player's VOD or a pro player's VOD reviewing with someone else to get a different perspective on what you need to work on. Mindset's another huge thing, another big gap between a good player and a great player. Working on your mindset, being more positive, and going into your games with confidence, which is another big thing. Working on your confidence. If you're uncertain about your mechanical abilities, it is a huge hit on your confidence as well as your game sense. So if you need to take the time to improve your mechanical skill, maybe even get someone else to look at your mechanics, see what you need to work on, and work on that thing, and that'll be a huge confidence booster for you. Once your confidence is at 100%, you can go into every game knowing that whoever you run into, you're going to metro shit on. Perspective is another huge thing. Not just looking at everything black and white. Thinking outside the box, looking at things from a different perspective and a different angle. trying to get the most out of a situation, trying to get the most out of a death. Yes, you died. You cannot change the fact that you died, but what you can do is take something from that death and not make that same mistake again the next game. Anyways, if any of these tips helped you, or if this video helped you at all, just let me know down in the comments below things I need to, improve on for my next video. Yes, I know this is a brief, simple video. It's not something that is specific. It is, just a couple pushes and steps in the right direction, in my opinion, that I think some people may need to hear. Anyways, if this video helped you, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and to let me know what I need to work on my next video.